Opera myth number 7. Opera is not relevant today because it's all from like 200-300 years ago. Okay, so let's just use Carmen as a small example. People are still making poor choices sometimes when they choose a boyfriend and girlfriend, and Carmen is a good example of some red flags to look out for. Okay, there are choices you can make which will ruin your career. Let's look at John Jose. He's like practically engaged to a nice girl next door. His mother approves, and they're all on a track for like, you know, domestic bliss. Marriage, children, you know, maybe he moves up in the army, gets a better career. They're on track. And then comes attraction to Carmen, who is wild and free. And she sets her sight on Don Jose, and they're in one day his career is down. He thinks he loves her. You know, a month later they get to meet, you know, for this love meeting, and it's pretty clear in about 10 minutes that Carmen is like, oh, forget this guy. I thought I loved him, but it ain't gonna work. And then they're thrown together, and then, you know, it's not going anywhere good. So that's Don Jose's perspective. Carmen's perspective is, you know, she kind of likes him now, but, you know, a month and a half later, she's on to someone else. And, you know, it's obvious from like about, you know, 5 minutes into that second meeting that he's jealous and dangerous in that jealousy. And so she's doomed as well because of this bad decision. So it's always worth, you know, these things still happen, is my point. Last summer, you know, tragic as it may be, not far from here where I live, you know, a guy stabbed his girlfriend to death and her boyfriend. And so it's not like it never happens, people. You can find Carmen in your paper every day, or maybe she's calling up the local psychologist radio show you've got. I hear her on Dr. Laura all the time. Okay, let's take another one. Faust. Okay, oh, you know, the devil, sin, blah, blah, blah. It's not relevant today. Okay, so the story starts with Faust is a very old man. He's a little disillusioned with life, and, you know, kind of feels like he didn't make the most of it. I think it's something we can all kind of relate to as we get older. We've got some of those feelings. And we all, you know, in our culture, being young is where it's at. Okay, we all want that youthfulness. We're buying moisturizer, trying to dress nice, getting our hair done right. Well, not me, obviously, but you know, all that stuff, you know, the wrinkles, the hair, the toupees, you know, everybody wants youth. And so Faust is there, and the demon Mephistopheles comes by, and he's like, hey, I can make you young and hot again. So Faust easily falls for this. Okay, so maybe Mephistopheles is not going to stop by your house tonight, but you may find him on late night TV peddling you some kind of wrinkle cure. And it costs, you know, zillions of dollars that you don't have. And you're going to follow down this track. And maybe he's in your email in a spam with the same kind of offerings of, you know, young women and riches. It's there, okay? And again, in Faust, boy next door falls in love with girl next door who doesn't really see him. I mean, that doesn't happen every day in your neighborhood. And her brother, Valentine, going off to war, worrying about leaving his sister alone because their mother has died. She's all alone in the world. He's very worried. So what, guys don't go off to war and worry about their sisters? There's everything in this opera that you can relate to, and why people say this opera is too old and stuffy-duddy, I don't know. And La Boheme. Okay, they were way ahead of their time. They're all like shacking up, unmarried, and, you know, living the artistic life. And, you know, so, and the poor girl dies young. If you haven't had that happen in your life, God bless you, because anyone watching Mimi sort of waste away, your heart's got to break. So how can La Boheme not be relevant to us today? Experiencing, you know, love and the loss of innocence, thinking you're going to live forever, and kind of getting slapped in the face by the fact that that doesn't happen. So the fact of saying that opera is not relevant is just 100% not true.